Xbox Game Studios is clearly struggling right now. Avowed just released to less than 20k players on Steam, and a lot of gamers were not happy with the content we got because it felt like a modern audience Skyrim. We know Game Pass prices have skyrocketed, which has led to more people deciding, I'm not actually going to use this service. And now we're finding out that their big Xbox exclusive Fable 4 has officially been delayed until 2026 after major backlash. But before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, it's no surprise to see lots of games getting pushed back right now. We're seeing lots of development cycles not going the way that companies expect, and when you're putting hundreds of millions of dollars on the line for one project, yeah, companies feel like, oh, we're just going to delay it a bunch of times so that we can get it right. But then, of course, the general direction they've taken the content in isn't what people want. So no matter how much time and effort you put into it, it's still not going to be a game a lot of people want to play, and we've seen a lot of layoffs and a lot of studio closures, just a very bad time right now within the industry. But Xbox is really being hit the hardest out of the major companies because people have just been pointing and laughing at them. They haven't really had a lot of exclusives going on. They are shifting their focus away from kind of exclusives, and a lot of people have felt slighted over that. And we know that their upcoming game, Fable 4, has now been delayed until 2026. And I had predicted a couple of weeks ago that this was going to happen because we had an Xbox showcase and it was not there, and it should have been if it was actually going to launch in 2025. But I personally think that they were waiting for Avowed's release to officially delay because they wanted to see how that game went. I have a feeling that Fable 4 is going to be a title for the modern audiences, judging by some of the content that we've seen so far, and every teaser and trailer they've released has either been ratioed or been close to a negative ratio, and now they're suddenly announcing this. It's just not a good look. So Xbox Game Studios head Craig Duncan has announced the news on the latest official Xbox podcast. So I just want to start with really excited about progress, really excited about where Playground are. We previously announced the date for Fable as 2025. We are actually going to give Fable more time, and it's going to ship in 2026 now. While I know that's maybe not the news people want to hear, what I want to assure people is that it's definitely worth the wait. And accompanying the news of the delay, Microsoft did share some new pre-alpha gameplay, which is viewable via the following timestamped YouTube video, it says. And so far, again, it's not going super well for them. Yes, it does have more likes than dislikes, but those dislikes are very quickly catching up. It's 3.8k likes to 1.4k dislikes, and many of the comments are being very critical. Now, I do think that they have made visually some progress, right? I don't think that this looks terrible visually. I think that the environments look pretty good. I do think that, some of the creature designs also look really cool. But I just think that while a game can look pretty, that doesn't mean it's going to be written well, or it's going to have an appealing story or amazing gameplay. And yes, the gameplay right now does definitely look very pre-alpha. I mean, look at the way her feet are sliding across the ground when she's blocking, and the really, in my opinion, bad dodge. I feel like this game still needs 3 years to cook, which is insane because it's already been in development for several years at this point. Now, there is some speculation about a potential lead character redesign. There's some people who think that she looks very, very different, that, oh my god, she looks better, she looks more feminine. I personally don't see that much of a difference. I think that, sure, maybe she does look slightly updated, but I feel like it's primarily lighting. The darker the room is, the better the companion looks type of situation. So we'll have to see in some more gameplay, but to me, it doesn't really look all that different. It just looks like more of the same that we've already gotten a look at. And when people had seen the other teasers and trailers, they were not impressed, that's for sure. This is a trailer that was uploaded 8 months ago on the GameSpot YouTube channel. It's got 1 million views, 17,000 likes to 31,000 dislikes. We have the Xbox Game Showcase trailer from a year ago, 1.1 million views, 29k likes to 23k dislikes. But I think that this is odd because I had previously made a video highlighting this trailer, highlighting this specific upload from the Xbox account, and it had 29k likes to 32,000 dislikes. So the likes are the same, but the dislikes are different. There's thousands of dislikes missing. I'm not sure if it just happens to be the extension messed up then. Maybe the extension is messing up now. I'm not entirely certain, but that is really, really suspicious in my opinion. But going back to the latest trailer with this pre-alpha gameplay, a lot of people are being very critical, and rightfully so, because when you have companies who constantly love to not deliver on what they promise, or they think they know what gamers want and it's really not what we want, yeah, all we can really do is speak up for ourselves, and maybe one day companies will start listening. But a lot of people are pointing and laughing. That dodge animation clearly does look like alpha footage, and I really hope that even a year is going to be enough time for them to work on this game to the point where it actually releases and the combat looks more polished. Again, the environments look really good, but just because something is pretty doesn't mean it's a good product. Legit thought this got canceled. Please have character creation. I think it's pretty obvious at this point that they're not going to have character creation, but I would still like them to because I really don't want to play as this lead character. Will I be able to create my character by chance? Pre-alpha still? Fable looks what I assumed a new Dragon Age would look like, and Dragon Age looks what I assumed a new Fable would look like. Yeah, I do think that this is a pretty fair comparison. Bloody hell, they doing a texture a month? 2026 is optimistic at this rate. Character, creator, please. Bruh, 5 years and they still release pre-alpha trailer. 2026 is a really wild statement. Yeah, I don't even think that it's going to release in 2026. I think it's going to need even more time, but it seems that this Fable game is in development hell, just judging by some of the other information we've gotten over the past couple of years. Again, I have covered this game pretty closely, but this was from July 25th, 2023. Xbox has lost yet another major dev who was working on Fable. This individual had said after almost 2 years at We Are Playground / Xbox on Fable, I'm delighted to share that I've joined the ranks of Rocksteady Games and Warner Brothers as a producer on Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So that game was such a major failure, okay? There was no saving KTJL. And if this person was on Fable for at this point, it would have been 2 years. I'm definitely worried, that's for sure. And this was a major developer. They were lead production for Fable's combat, enemies, traversal, and more, feature teams, production owner for gameplay and technical design teams, technical production owner for several tech teams, facilitating agile scrum methodologies for all previously mentioned teams, including sprint planning, sprint retrospectives, daily stand-ups. So they were somebody who was integral to the project when they were a part of it. And we also know on top of that, the narrative lead had actually left Playground Games in July of 2023. So it seems that quite a few people ended up ditching the project right around then. And none of this really looks good. Now, I, of course, am always cautiously optimistic when it comes to games I am even excited for. I have to say, though, I don't really have a lot of hype for Fable 4 at this point, and I just don't have a lot of hype for a lot of new modern AAA games because we've been let down so many times. I would love to be proven wrong. I would love for this to come out, and I would love for it to be fantastic, but I'm definitely cautiously optimistic at this point, and that's being generous. We've seen multiple team members leave. Again, narrative leads and combat directors. We've seen delays. We're not really seeing any positive progression when it comes to the combat, and while people are debating on if this is a new character model or not, I think it really looks more of the same, and she still looks like the masculinized lead we had initially seen almost 2 years ago, and I feel like they just changed the lighting to try to soften her features up a little bit. So we don't have a lot of information still, but right now things are not looking particularly good. Now we're also finding out that this game has officially been delayed until 2026, and I have a feeling this game is just in development hell and Xbox is panicking. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.